Well, may I say thank you to all of you who have stayed for the entire evening, and thank you for being here and listening very attentively. Thank you very much to all who made this available to us, this fine facility. Thank you for being a respectful audience, and thank you very much, Shabir, for once again engaging in debate with me. I do look forward to our future engagements, and I hope that they will be just as useful to folks. I hope that you have an understanding of what the issue this evening was. I truly believe that what I presented to you was clear evidence that Jesus claimed deity for himself. I demonstrated this by a consistent line of testimony, starting with the earliest Christians. I went back through Paul quoting from an early hymn of the church. I went back to Jesus himself, and I demonstrated that Jesus himself utilized language that specifically identified him as God in a way that could not be mistaken. What has been the response to that? The response has basically been to cast doubt upon the accuracy of what we have today. Not really the transmission of the text, interestingly enough, though that's a direction that many Muslims will go, but to cast doubt and saying, well, we can see theoretically that there is a development here or there is an addition here. However, we saw in the question and answer period that there are counter examples to that, and it's difficult for you to maybe grasp hold of all these things in a short discussion that we might have here, but there have been sound and consistent Christian responses to every one of the criticisms that Shabir Ally has leveled for a very, very long time. And here's what I want the Muslims to hear. I suggest to you that if you take the time to look at those responses, you will discover that the worldview behind them, the worldview that allows God to speak with clarity, is the same worldview that you would hold as a supernaturalist. And that the people who would not allow the New Testament to give us a specific testimony to the deity of Christ, or would say, well, theoretically, maybe this was an addition, or theoretically, maybe that happened, that the worldview of the people who take that perspective would not be consistent with your own. That really becomes the issue here. And I really would suggest to you, if you would take the time, I mean, one of the questioners had just taken the time to read the Gnostic Gospels. My friends, if you will read the Gnostic Gospels, if you'll take the time to read that, please read Matthew, Mark, and Luke. You will find that the people who wrote Matthew, Mark, and Luke believed in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And that the people who wrote the Gnostic Gospels didn't believe in that God, and in fact reviled that God. And if you'll take the time to just understand that what we have is all of the earliest evidence points us to the same conclusion. And here's my question for all of us this evening. What if those texts I presented to you are right? What if Jesus Christ, when standing before his accusers, identified himself as the Son of Man who is worshipped by his followers and is given a kingdom that will never end and is worldwide? What if that, which is part of the earliest tradition even from the liberal perspective, what if that is true? My Muslim friends, what if every breath that you have and every beat of your heart actually comes from the hands of Jesus of Nazareth? What if he truly was the incarnate one? You cannot treat him as a mere Rasul. The Jews did that in John chapter 8. They refused. They would have accepted him as a Messiah. They would have accepted him as a prophet. He raised the dead. It's pretty hard to argue with that. But what they rejected was that he truly was the eternal one, that he had come into human flesh. And Jesus said to them, unless you believe that I am, you will die in your sins. That sounds very final to me, my friends. And so have you ever pondered, what if Jesus was telling the truth? What if this message, which existed for hundreds of years before the Quran came into existence, what if it's true? What will you do with a Jesus who can stand before his accusers and say, I am the Son of the Blessed One, and you will see the Son of Man coming with clouds and with power? Are you ready to meet that Jesus? That is the Jesus I believe in. That is the Jesus I pray will reveal himself to you even this evening. Thank you very much for your listening and your attention. But I always bring books for Shabir Ally, and they're the ones I want him to read. Here's one on the deity of Christ. There you go. And here's from a friend of mine, that I thought you might find very interesting on love, freedom, and evil. Maybe it might lead to our next dialogue.
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Okay.